And we have room down here if anyone wants to move down to the
Oh, there are chairs down here. So that mic is not working.
Put it closer to me, and that works. Tilt it directly into my mouth.
No one can
Goodness. All right, so it's a real honor for me to be part of the ceremony honoring my good friend and colleague, Carol Parker, and I'm going to tell a couple of short stories. Hopefully I will be able to tell these even though I don't have a podium to read from. But the short stories are about what I consider to be her leadership. She is one of the architects, designers, and builders of the legal writing discipline that we have been honoring yesterday and today. And I think that that indicates a real turning point for all of us, that we've actually passed a turning point in the fact that we are able to honor people who are such architects and builders of the legal writing discipline. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Carol as a colleague. She's never been a colleague of mine as a teacher, but I'm going to draw a little bit on some of the things that people at the University of Tennessee said about her. I'm going to talk about her as a scholar, and I'm going to talk about her as a member of the J. Allwood editorial board, the journal formerly known as J. Allwood, now known as Legal Communication and Rhetoric. As a colleague, this is the one I have to read. I'm going to share a story that was told by Doug Lynn, an adjunct professor at the University of Tennessee, where Carol is the director, or has been the director for many years. During one fall semester early in my career as an adjunct professor, I had somehow convinced myself that classes did not start until after Labor Day. I don't know if that's familiar to any of you. The reality is that classes started as they usually do during the third week in August. My class was supposed to start at 8 a.m. On the first day of class, I went to my law office and started working as usual. Remember, this is an adjunct. Carol called around mid-morning. Gracious as always, she asked how I was doing. I responded that I was doing fine, and I was really looking forward to the semester. We continued some cordial conversation. At some point, I told her that if she ever needed anything, to please let me know. After a brief pause, she said, "Well, there is something you can do for me." Eager to please, I said, "Sure, what's that?" She then told me that it would be nice if I showed up the next week. She had passed, this is the best part though, she had passed my classroom that morning and noticed I was not in the room, so she taught my class for me. The second little story is about Carol as a scholar, and here I'm going to talk about a presentation she did at the 2001 Allwood Conference on Liberal Education and the Law, Engaging the Legal Imagination. I think most of you know Carol as the author of a number of Writing Across the Curriculum articles. I know her for that. I recommend those articles to casebook professors all the time. I think they're terrific, but I think the article that captures Carol's spirit is really the Liberal Education and the Law article. So I'm going to read a little bit about what she says legal education should be, and I promise it won't be long. Our curricula should pose certain kinds of questions to exemplify legal thinking and engage students in independent thought. The questions we choose are those that arise in authentic context and require students to use the imaginative structures of legal reasoning and language to make their unique contributions to law and society. A law school curriculum that emphasizes compositional education Sorry. Recognizes the value of each student's contribution to legal thought and provides essential preparation for the profession. The idea would be that each student was different, that each was engaged in the educational process for which he was responsible. And I think in that article she talks about James Boyd White's advice to students and to all of us to use your imagination. That was radical, I think, at the time that it was written. I think it's still radical today, but I think it's the heart of what the Carnegie Report and the Clear Report said. The third story is a short, really short one. It's about Carol's role on the J. Allwood editorial board. So since 2003, Carol, Terry Phelps, Marilyn Walter, Michael Smith, and I have been on the J. Allwood editorial board. Carol's still on the J. Allwood editorial board. As the editor of the journal during much of that time, I am very much in her debt. We could always count on Carol to see the value others might not uncover, to articulate what others could not put into words, to take on a project that others did not want to tackle. Although Carol is as patient, kind, and thoughtful as anyone you will ever meet, she never lost her judgment. So I'm going to read you a very brief review that she did in one article to give you an indication that she is patient, kind, and thoughtful, but she never loses her judgment. Hi, Linda, she says. This is an email. I enjoyed the article, and I think it would be a good one to send out for peer review. That said, I'd love for it to begin on page 25. I have the email. Carol's spirit is the spirit of a liberal education in the law. She is gracious, generous, and open. She is one of the most imaginative, thoughtful, and inspiring teachers, scholars, and colleagues I know. And in legal writing, we are so lucky to have so many of those that it's remarkable to be able to say that about her. I am so grateful to have had the wonderful experience of exploring this community with Carol. Thank you.
And before we bring Carol up here, I'd like to recognize Lisa Blackwell and Tom and Lisa's two of their children are here with us tonight.
Yay!
I think each year with this award, we're reminded of Tom's generosity, and we see his spirit living on not only in you guys, but in the colleagues that he influenced and who have followed in his footsteps. And Carol, if you could come up, we'd love to bestow the award on you and hear some of your comments, please.
Well, thank you. I am just overcome. Linda, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. I realize it's been 25 years that I've been doing this. And I look around the room and I feel like I've grown up with a lot of you. And in fact, I have. And I am so grateful to be a part of this generous community. And it is a tremendous honor and humbling to him. I may mention in the same sentence as Tom Blackwell. I wish I had known him better. I was struck by his humanity, and that's the spirit of the legal writing community that I'm so grateful to be part of. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me just read this out loud. The Thomas Blackwell Memorial Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Legal Writing. This award, which honors the life of Thomas F. Blackwell and his personal and professional qualities, recognizes Carol McCrean Parker's outstanding contribution to improve the field of legal writing by demonstrating the ability to nurture and motivate students and to excel and motivate students to excellence. Willingness to help other legal writing educators improve their teaching skills and their legal writing programs, and the ability to create and integrate new ideas for teaching and motivating legal writing educators and students. These are all qualities that Tom shared with us, and now we share them with Carol.